Hello, hello, guys. I'm just going to give you a few minutes to let everyone get on. I kind of left it to the very last minute to jump in, so get you all signed in. Hey, Emer, nice to have you here. Cool. Davina, hey. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay, see me okay before we get started. Hey. So I don't know if any of you want to pop on and say hello at the start. If not, you can just stay muted and it should just be me on the screen anyway, but you're more than welcome to pop on and say hello. Hey, Emer.
Hi.
Thanks for joining. Very nice. I'm so glad you can make it live as well.
Oh, me too. No, I just decided I was gonna. You might hear kids and dogs in the background, so just
that's okay.
Ignore.
You might hey, Davina. You might hear dogs in the background of this too, my neighbors, but we'll see. Hopefully not too noisy. Hey, that's great that you can.
That's okay. My little boy's asleep, so I'm hoping he'll be asleep for the duration.
Okay. I mean, it's going to be recorded anyway, so if you miss anything, you can always watch it back later. So yeah, I don't know how many of us are going to be live today. I know a lot of people said that they couldn't make it live, so they're going to be on the recording. I'm just going to, for the first few minutes, just hey, Jennifer, just going to let people, let them come as they come. Again, I don't know if you want to be on video, that's fine. If you, for the duration, I'm obviously just going to get you to mute so that if there's any background noise, you're not like popping up on the screen. But I'm going to go through a presentation, bit of a presentation just to kind of guide me really. I haven't done a live before and I'm obviously used to doing like 15-minute YouTube videos. So an hour, I definitely need some guides. But yeah, really excited about this. So really good to have you guys. I might just get started. And if anybody misses the intro, again, it'll be recording. So, okay. Let me just see what I had. Okay, so I don't know, is there a chat box that you guys can use as well? I can't see it right now. Let me just see if I can see it. Just if you have any questions.
There is. Let's see. Here, let's see if I'll type something and see if you can see it.
Perfect. Yeah, sounds good. Oh yeah, I can see the chat there.
See it?
Perfect. Yeah, thanks. Okay. So if you have any questions at any point during it, you can always type them in there and I'll see them. But you can just stay muted then, and I might get you to pop back on as well at the end if you want to, if you have any questions, if there's time. Hopefully I don't run over. And yeah, so I might just get started with this. So everyone can hear me and see me okay for a start. Great. Okay, perfect. So. Okay, so it's 4 weeks. So I'm starting today on a Monday, but the next 3 classes will be on a Tuesday. Hopefully that suits people. That's just kind of how my month is shaping up. I'm going to check as well. I know some people had questions about the time that it was on at, whether I could do it maybe an hour earlier or later. So I think after today, I'm just going to email you guys, see if you have any feedback on times. I'll give you the 3 dates for the rest of the month and see what way you can work. Because obviously I'd like as many of you as possible to be able to make the time. Okay, so here's just a little bit of an overview of the 4 weeks initially. And just so you can get a rundown, just so you know what to expect week to week. So this week is all about the basics of a capsule wardrobe. What is a capsule wardrobe? The benefits of having one. I'm going to show you a few different examples because I know not everyone is going to have a wardrobe that looks the exact same. That would be pretty boring. I know when I first started out with a capsule wardrobe, it was quite minimal. I guess I was trying to get the minimalist capsule wardrobe, which is like black, white, and gray, everything. And it's definitely changed so much since then. So I'll show you a few different examples. And I've just a bit of an introduction to fashion psychology as well. I'm going to touch on this more next week, but I just think there's some really interesting points that you can think about and maybe in the next week or so that next week might make a little bit more sense and you might be able to see how it kind of fits into your own wardrobe and your own life. You might kind of notice throughout the week. So then week 2 is all about mindset and habits. So they have unhealthy shopping habits and how to create new ones. how to build new habits and stick to them, which I know habits aren't the easiest thing to create, but just by making small changes, I think that's a really good place to start. And then again, touching more on fashion psychology and how fast fashion is marketed to us. Because I think the consumerism side is really hard to get away from when you're trying to pare back your own wardrobe, but you're seeing all these ads for like, buy this, buy that, like it can be really difficult. So I think when you can kind of understand the advertising, the way it plays on your mind and your emotions, you can start to recognize it. So it becomes a little bit less controlling over you. And then just a little bit about body confidence and dressing for your body shape, which if you saw my last video, you know, I don't really believe in dressing for a particular body shape. It's kind of whatever you want to wear. I don't really get the whole pear, apple, things like that. But obviously there are certain things that you can do that will flatter certain parts of your body if that's something that you want to do. Obviously not necessary. Sorry, just go back. And then week 3. So we're going to do a step-by-step wardrobe cleanse. So I'll go through from what I would do with clients from the start of like getting into their homes, looking through their wardrobe, breaking it all down. And then at the end of it, hopefully have a really good guide to how you can kind of then take this presentation, if you watch back the video, go to your own wardrobe and work through it step by step. And each week as well, I do have a worksheet as well that you can go through. So you're never kind of on your own afterwards. I mean, I'm kind of calling it homework, but it's not. It's just something if you want to work more into it. And obviously then it kind of drags out the 4 weeks to be not just 1 hour each week. It's more like a kind of a process, a month-long process. And then week 4 is kind of going forward, how to maintain your wardrobe, how to kind of care for your clothes, like basically everything we've learned, how we can keep implementing that within our wardrobes, which I think is really important. Sometimes you learn a few things, but then you kind of come across hurdles along the way and it's not as easy to keep it up. So that's something I definitely want to equip you with. So who am I? I mean, I know you guys obviously follow me either on Instagram or YouTube or read my blog or something like that. But just a little bit of a background on me and how I got to where I am. So grew up watching Trinny and Susanna, Gok Wan, and The Look for Less. They were like my favorite shows. I think I was about 8 or 9 and they were still my favorite shows. I went on and studied fashion design in college or uni, depending on where you're from and what you understand as college. But the design aspect never really appealed to me. But as I was writing my thesis and I kind of started getting a bit more into fashion psychology, I just thought this is the area that I want to be in. So I worked in PR and marketing, I've worked in social media. I've completed a professional styling course as well over lockdown, thought it was a good time to do it. And just something to kind of help me help clients more. So I've been blogging since 2011, but it was all fast fashion. And it kind of, I guess, my journey came through with that. So fast fashion, I was buying new things every week, posting hauls, posting all that stuff, which I feel like that just really shows where I've come from in my journey from fast fashion to a capsule wardrobe. And then I've rebranded to sustainable fashion blogging, which is great. I love sustainable brands and I love that aspect of things, but it's not always realistic for everybody to buy from sustainable brands. So that's why I kind of wanted to kind of rebrand again with more of a focus on personal development through fashion and through our style. So I like to encourage sustainable fashion, of course, but more through ways of wearing what you already own or having less pieces, buying quality over quantity. And yeah, sometimes that is shopping secondhand as well. So I feel like sustainable fashion is so much bigger than in that kind of sustainable fashion bracket, and you can kind of make it work for you, whichever way resonates with you. So step number 1, figure out what is a capsule wardrobe. So there's so many different ways of explaining what a capsule wardrobe is. So a capsule wardrobe generally can be described as a select number of items of clothing. So it's usually between 30 to 40 items. I've seen like 37-piece wardrobe being trending. That's when I first started. It was 37 pieces that I started with. But it just, as long as they're interchangeable and can be mixed and matched into a number of different outfit combinations, which is the key. I mean, you could have 20 pieces in your capsule wardrobe. As long as they mix and match and create loads of different outfit options, then it's going to work for you. Whereas, I mean, you could have 60 pieces, but if they didn't mix and match, then that's not a capsule. So the number isn't the most important. It's kind of how they work together. So the benefits of a capsule wardrobe, I feel like there's so many different benefits for different people. But for me, less clutter was a big thing. I live in London. I have a tiny apartment, or tiny wardrobe anyway. And having loads of clothes right now wouldn't be realistic for me. Like, I work in fashion. It's my passion. But I still think there are other ways to enjoy fashion than just accumulating it in your wardrobe. So less clutter for me is just less stress. I don't have to keep tidying my wardrobe every so often. And, you know, my room isn't just full of clothing like it used to be. So my very first blog, I named Fashion Floor Fillers, because it literally would fill my floor. I always had clothes all over my floor. I remember one time my dad joking that they're saying, you know the chair that you throw all your clothes on, and basically my dad joked that the floor was my chair because I literally just threw everything on the floor. So I'm glad that that kind of portion of my life is over. Less clothing also equals less decision fatigue. And decision fatigue is when you just have too many options. So, I mean, not even in terms of clothing. I feel like, you know, when you go to a restaurant and they have a huge, extensive menu and you just don't know what to order. But if you go to a restaurant and it has a kind of a bit more of a condensed menu, it's just so much easier. We want options, but we don't want too many options, because that just kind of messes with our heads. And then we just can't make decisions. When there's too many options, you're kind of thinking, oh, but if I choose this, then these are the benefits. But if I choose this, then these are the benefits. And it just makes things more complicated. So the less options you have, the easier it is to make decisions. The quicker, obviously, you can get dressed in the mornings, especially when you're running out for work or something like that. And yeah, it just makes things a bit more streamlined. You'll also get a more refined style. I feel like when you're limited to certain amount of pieces, you're going to pick pieces that really resonate with you, or hopefully by the end of this anyway, you will. And you will find your essential items that you love to wear, and that work for you, that kind of mix and match together. You learn the different combinations you love as well. So, I mean, maybe not everything in your wardrobe will go together, but there'll be some sort of kind of style uniforms that you'll have that, you know, all your crew neck jumpers go with all your jeans, but all your tight, like more tight fitted jumpers might go with your skirts, something like that. It doesn't have to 100% mix and match, but it is obviously better if it does. A more curated wardrobe makes you want to shop less as well, because once you figure out your wardrobe and you see the kind of the first few benefits of less clutter, less stress, less decision fatigue, it will make you want to bring stuff into your wardrobe even less. So it's definitely, when I think about, if I find something that, you know, in the moment I really love and it's like impulse shopping and I really want to buy it, if I think about my wardrobe, I'm like, do I really want to add this to my wardrobe? Because I know it's just kind of mess it up a little bit, and it's not going to match everything as well as the pieces that are already there. So I'm a lot less likely to bring in new unconsidered items. It is a more sustainable approach to your wardrobe. The less you have, obviously, the less you're shopping, the better. The less new items you're buying. It's also less secondhand items too. We can't just keep shopping secondhand all the time, because eventually the secondhand pieces will run out. If we don't want people to shop new, where the secondhand item is going to come from. So this is a great way to wear what you own, have quality items that are going to last you years. I feel like when you get to a certain age as well, and definitely for me coming into my late 20s, I just want to figure out my style now. I want to have really great quality pieces, and I want them to last me like the next 20 years, something like that. So definitely a sustainable approach if you can make your clothing last that long. It's definitely easier to pack for trips. I know myself, when I'm going away somewhere, I'll usually collage a little, like a miniature capsule wardrobe, but having a bigger one is great practice. But when it comes to planning one, you want to pack maybe like 10 items or something, maybe even less for a weekend or a long week away. And yeah, it's just so much easier to pack, because again, all the pieces you pack, will probably go together. And quicker to put outfits together. So first thing in the morning, you wake up, if you haven't pre-planned your outfits, although I would recommend doing so, I think it's great when you have some outfits ready to go. But if you haven't pre-planned your outfits, then you can literally just look in your wardrobe and just pull a top and a bottom and some shoes and a coat, and your items are probably going to go together because you've curated this wardrobe that is cohesive and will go together. So there are a few different types of capsule wardrobes. The type you choose isn't necessarily a big factor. It's kind of whatever works for you. So I mentioned before the 37-piece capsule wardrobe, which includes shoes and accessories, but it doesn't include loungewear or exercise gear, things like that. There's Project 333, which I'm currently doing at the moment. I have 1 month left on it. And that's when you have 33 items for 3 months. And then obviously every 3 months or every kind of season, you will switch it up. You could do a 10 by 10 capsule. That's supposed to say capsule. So that's 10 pieces and you create 10 outfits out of it. And I've done a few videos like this with 10 pieces and 10 outfits. And a lot of the time you can get more than 10 outfits, but it's just 10 outfits. I feel like you can get completely different outfits. If you want to push it a bit further, they're probably going to be similar, but you can definitely get more out of it. And again, that can be a great option for traveling or something like that, or just kind of dipping your toe into the capsule wardrobe pool. You could take 10 pieces out of your wardrobe initially, play around with those. I mean, you could do that over the next week if you felt inclined. Pull 10 pieces out of your wardrobe and play around with those as just that's your wardrobe for the week and see what you can come up with. You have seasonal capsule wardrobes. Again, you kind of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Sometimes they're not the easiest to create because depending on where you live and whether you have quite a contrasting seasons weather-wise, or if you have that kind of overlap where you don't know if it's still summer or it's autumn, or is it autumn or winter, definitely in the UK and Ireland as well. It's kind of hard. I know when I made my August or my autumn capsule wardrobe in September, I definitely needed to go back and pull out some summer gear. So they're great to work with, but try and be a little bit flexible with them as well. You can also have a workwear capsule wardrobe if you don't like to wear your workwear clothes or like kind of on your, not day to day, because that's work, on weekends and evenings. You could just have a mini capsule for work, which makes getting dressed for work super easy, and then you can kind of enjoy the rest of your wardrobe for every other day. Occasion wear capsule wardrobe. I haven't really talked much about that on my channel or anything before, but it's really useful because you could just have some key pieces in there that when you kind of mix and match them together, they create really chic, kind of like, not black tie outfits, but really kind of more formal outfits. Like could be like a silky cami top, a really nice pair of black tailored trousers, a really nice blazer. You could have a sequined blazer, a slip dress, your little LBD, things like that would be really good in that wardrobe. And they're not things that you can't mix into other items or other kind of with other items in your wardrobe, but it's when you pair them together that they create the really formal looks. Pair them with the rest of your wardrobe, they're a bit more dressed down. And then the last one is a core collection capsule. So this is when you have your basics as like a core capsule. So you decide exactly what basics you want to have. And then these might be maybe like 15 to 20 pieces. And then you might allow yourself, the rest of your wardrobe could be just kind of interchangeable season to season or week to week, if you prefer. And they're maybe more statement pieces, things like that. So whichever one works for you, whichever one obviously you can have multiple because you might have 37 pieces, but you might also have seasonal and you might have a workwear one within that. So these are just kind of ways to introduce you to what kind of capsule wardrobe you might want to create. So I have some examples of a capsule wardrobe. These are some that I've kind of created in the past for videos or just for myself to live with. So the first one here is kind of a workwear capsule wardrobe that I created. It was 17 pieces and I just kind of, I think I was starting a new job or something and I just pulled out the pieces that I thought I'd like to wear to work, put them together and mixed and matched into loads of different outfits. And if you have like a collaging app, or I like to use Smart Closet, it's a free app. You can kind of just download pieces, or not download, but find pieces that look similar to pieces you own, or you can take your own photos and just save them all in one place. You kind of have your wardrobe basically on your phone, or you can use Photoshop, anything like that, and just play around with the outfits. And once you can collage them, they might not always look the same when you actually try it on, but it's just a great kind of first place to go to see what they look like. And then on the right side, I have a 10 by 10 wardrobe. So this is kind of like a winter wardrobe that I did last year. And again, you can kind of see that a lot of the outfits look really different, even though there's only 10 pieces in here. So this 40-piece capsule wardrobe was like the first ever capsule wardrobe I planned, hence the kind of shoddy design of it. But this is from like maybe 2016, 2015, something like that. They're all the tops, bottoms, and outerwear and shoes and bags that I had at the time. This was when I was in uni, so it's quite a casual wardrobe actually. But I have a lot of outerwear and a lot of shoes. I feel like I could probably have had less of those and have more clothes. But it depends. Like if again for winter, I feel like if you have more outerwear, then your outfits look different. Because obviously in winter we end up living in our coats, and that's sometimes all the like if we go to meet someone and we're wearing a really nice coat, sometimes we don't actually end up taking the coat off. So because it's too cold. So it's nice to have extra outerwear options for the colder weather. And then this one here, I have a neutrals. I think this is a 10 by 10 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I can't count, but yes. So that's just another example of 10 pieces over the space of a week. So that could be something that you want to consider, or that you might want to consider doing for the rest of the week. You could do it from tomorrow until like next Tuesday, and then report back and let me know how you get on. But yeah, and it creates completely different outfits, but they're all kind of a mix of different styles. And then finally, here is one that I made for my mom, actually. You might have seen the video. This is just a really, really colorful capsule. So it's very different to something that I would wear personally. I don't wear a lot of print. I don't wear those kinds of colors. But it's definitely possible to have a completely colorful and printful capsule wardrobe if that is your style. There's no limit. You don't have to have plain colors. You don't have to wear black, white, and gray. Like I said, you don't even have to wear all the kind of too many neutrals if you really like a pop of color. I feel like if you're the kind of person who's drawn to color, you might be quite good at pairing different colors together anyway. Once you kind of know a few different tricks. So there's definitely no limit on the kind of wardrobe you can create. So this was my before and after. So that was when I think I was on a year out during uni, and I was living at home, and I had just started blogging, and I was getting sent free stuff from fast fashion brands whenever I would just accept everything I was offered. And I just had so much stuff. You can see shoe boxes piling up. It looks ridiculous. I think at that time I had like 30 to 40 pairs of shoes, and I feel like there would have been another rail of clothes as well. So one rail was just all black and white stuff and gray, and the other side was just so colorful and so not me. If you can look at the picture on the right, this is more me. This is not obviously, this isn't everything I own, but it's kind of my color palette that I work with from now. So again, a little bit about my journey from fast fashion and kind of an overflowing wardrobe to a more refined wardrobe, and, you know, paring it back a little bit and finding my own style. So 2015, 16, spending any excess money I had on clothes. At the end of a week of uni, if I had £5 left or €5 left, I would go into probably Pennies, look through the sale rails, anything I could afford, I would buy it. Even if it wasn't my size, I can sew. So I kind of use that as an excuse. I would buy from like kids sizes as well, even though I was, you know, I don't know what age, 24. Yeah, 24. And yeah, anything I could afford, I would buy. Buying from the sale rails, that was my focus. I wouldn't just look for something full price and save up for it. I would just buy everything. I told you, quantity over quality, definitely. I would buy into all the trends. It's such a huge mix of colors and prints that didn't even suit me. I didn't even know what it meant for colors to suit you or not suit you. I didn't know what an undertone was at the time. And yeah, always chose quantity. Always buying from cheap high street as well. So as you can imagine, even if I still had some of those clothes, they wouldn't have lasted and they wouldn't be in very good quality or condition. Fast forward to now, I budget as a clothing allowance. So over the last 3 months, I haven't been shopping as part of my project 333, but I do budget monthly, and just a little bit, so I don't have to feel guilty when I spend, if I do spend. I shop from a wish list. I have a wish list board on Pinterest. I'll add things to it when I want to add something to my wardrobe. I'll put it there and I'll wait at least a month. And if it's still there after a month and I still want it after a month, I might go and buy it. if I come back to my board and I don't actually want it anymore, I'll just take it off. So now I have a color palette of colors and tones that suit me. I know I'm kind of like neutral to warm undertone. So that's, that obviously has encouraged me to choose more colors that actually suit me. So if you don't know your own undertone, it's quite, well, one of the ways actually to figure it out is to look at your veins on your wrist. And if they are, I think if they're blue, you can be quite cool undertoned. And if they're kind of greeny, that's more neutral. And if they're purple, that's a warm undertoned. So either green or a mix of blue and purple is neutral. So that's what I have. I've like purple and bluey green mix. That's just a really quick way to tell. Other than that, you can see whether gold or silver suits you better. Gold would be warm and silver would be cool. So now I have key pieces that suit my style. I don't get sucked into trends. I have approximately 10 pairs of shoes, possibly in my everyday wardrobe. I may have more in like occasion wear and some heels. I just don't feel the need to get rid of them because I don't wear them all the time. And if an occasion arises, I'll pull them out then. Shop secondhand, like 95% of the time maybe. And I try to choose quality over quantity now. Not always, sometimes I'll still have the little impulse, but on the bigger picture, I try to choose quality. So, psychology of fashion. This is something that just, I find it so fascinating. When I finally learned about how our clothes can affect us, I had no idea. This is something, like I said, I researched for my thesis, and it was incredible what I discovered. I kind of just thought, oh, you know, when it's uncomfortable, it makes you feel shitty, or yeah, if it's too short or it's too tight or too long, things like that. I thought that was kind of would be all that was affecting you. But actually, nearly every aspect of what you wear affects your state of mind, which blows my mind. So let me just share some stuff that I've learned in this kind of area with you. So our clothing can affect our psychological processes. So that includes performance levels and abilities, our emotions, our moods, and how we feel, kind of like confidence, you know, how ourselves that we feel. And there's a really interesting study that was done by a scientist called Adam Gilinski, I believe. And he carried out a Stroop test with his participants. So there was obviously two groups. There was a control group, which just wore their own clothing, and they carried out the Stroop test. Stroop test, if you don't know, is when you're shown colors, but so the word might say green, but the color of the word will be red, but you have to say, I think you have to say the color that it is. So you have to identify the color instead of reading the word. So obviously it can be confusing because it's all like different colored words. So the people who were wearing their own clothes, they obviously had a certain score out of whatever kind of percentage did really well. And in the study group, they were asked to wear, there was two study groups. One was asked to wear a white lab coat, and they were told it was a doctor's lab coat. And the other half of them were told it was an artist's or a painter's lab coat. And fascinatingly enough, those who believed that it was a doctor's lab coat performed better. So they took on the kind of characteristics associated with being a doctor, someone of importance, someone who doesn't make mistakes, someone who's smart, someone who knows what they're doing, someone who has to perform well under pressure. They took on all of these characteristics, and they somehow performed better than the people who thought it was just an artist's coat, who wouldn't have the same characteristics associated with them. So this isn't even an item of clothing that you would like or that feels like you. It's just a white lab coat, and had this effect. So that kind of has stuck with me. That was one of the studies that I discovered during my thesis, and it's definitely something that has stuck with me. So if we can apply this to our own clothing, what kind of things can we wear that take on certain characteristics? If you're going for a job interview, what are you going to wear? Are you going to wear a little dress that might be seen as more like a picnic outfit, and like it's frilly and floral? and you're going to feel all cute and like running around the field, I don't know, as an example? Or are you going to choose a blazer, a really nice, sharp, tailored blazer that makes you feel confident, that someone who was a boss would wear, someone who is good at, like, can do their job, someone who's very competent? Which one are you going to choose? You're going to choose the blazer. You're going to choose a suit. So I know people that talk about dressing up for job interviews, but is it to look professional, or is it because these items of clothing actually come with these characteristics that just make us feel like we've got our shit together, so to speak? So we can use that in our everyday lives. It doesn't have to be a job interview. If you're going on a date, maybe you do want to wear the picnic dress that makes you feel a bit more flirty and feminine, and you want to kind of show your sensual side. If you, another example, if you're going to work, again, you might want to just dress smart. I know myself in previous jobs, when I used to wear, like, I don't know, like leggings and a big jumper to work, I would just feel like cozy and a bit slouchy all day. But now when I wear a pair of trousers, or something just a bit more like fitted, tailored, something that I feel like an adult would wear, and someone who is confident and professional, it makes me feel professional and it makes me do better. I don't know if that's because my mood is better, or it's because I'm literally just taking on these characteristics of these pieces of clothing. So it would be really interesting to just kind of think about this as you're getting dressed over the next week or so, because we will talk about this more next week. But I just think that, yeah, I feel like once we can identify the different areas that we can use this in, it's just so much easier. So you can be like, oh, I've got a job interview, I'm going to wear this. So the other day I had an important interview, and I actually went and thought, okay, what color am I going to wear? Or what piece am I going to wear? And I applied that. So I don't know if I got the job or not yet, but I felt better about it. I felt like I was actually kind of taking control of the situation a little bit, because I could maybe manipulate the situation a little bit. So I wore a really nice kind of warm blue cashmere crew neck jumper, and blue comes with feelings of calm and trustworthy and kind of orderly, things like that, things that you would want in an employee. And also just to kind of, I feel like if you wear red, sometimes it's quite bold. That wasn't really the statement I wanted to give. So something to think about anyway. We'll definitely touch on it more next week. Apart from how our clothing can make us feel, but it also kind of speaks to other people. So people, like, we also will judge people quite quickly, unintentionally sometimes, but by what they wear, just by seeing what they're wearing or how their hair looks or their makeup, or, you know, depend on anything kind of aesthetically. And our clothing speaks for us before we even open our own mouths. And we all know first impressions are made in like split seconds. I feel like it's the first 8 seconds or 10 seconds, something like that, something quite quick. So if you want to use your clothing to help with that first impression, then that's really something to think about as well. So what our clothing says is who we are or who we aspire to be, how we're feeling, and whether we're striving for better or have given up. So I feel like you can usually tell, think about Monday morning in work. You can tell who's hungover and who's not sometimes just by what they're wearing. If they're wearing something a bit looser and baggy and look like they're kind of giving up a little bit, you can kind of tell. Whereas someone smartly dressed, you wouldn't necessarily tell so quickly, even if they are hungover, you know? So it's just about using these things, and it will also have an impact on how people perceive us, which is a huge one as well. Let me just check on time. I don't want to run over. Okay, so we're a little over halfway. So I've included this, a page in the workbook that I sent to you with the link email. And it's just writing down keywords. How does your wardrobe make you feel? So we're going to talk about how it makes us feel this week, and hopefully next week, then we can kind of reflect a little bit on how we want it to make us feel. So I'm just going to open out, just going to stop the screen share for a second, or kind of get the chat would like to be able to ask you guys questions if I can figure this out. No, okay. Let me just stop the share for a minute. Okay, so I want you to type in the box, how on a day-to-day basis do you, or let me just, what you're wearing right now, how does your outfit make you feel? Even if it's just like one keyword. Slouchy, okay. Like I said, that kind of, if I wear something like leggings and a jumper, that is exactly how I feel. And sometimes that's how I want to feel. Yeah, comfortable, exactly. Somewhat put together and comfortable. Great. That's kind of what I went for today as well. I didn't wear my pajama bottoms. I was very tempted, but I was like, no, I feel like I need to feel a bit confident today, especially for the first class. I was like, I'm going to wear a cardigan and I'm going to wear something comfortable, but not too slouchy. But that's great because I feel like slouchy is not even a negative. It's just you're at home, you're feeling comfy. Obviously, I feel like maybe it's more when you're out and about and you're meeting people and you kind of have it in your head of how people might be perceiving you, or you're trying to move around at work. And if your clothing is anyway restrictive, I feel like that's when the kind of more negative things come into play. But it's great that you guys are feeling good. Okay, thinking about your kind of dream style or your dream wardrobe, how do you want it to make you feel? Confident, yeah, that's a great one. I feel like that could be across any style that you choose, as long as it's something that kind of resonates with you and makes you feel like yourself, then you're going to feel confident. Strong and stylish, like it. Yeah, that's a good one. Strong is very good. It's actually not one I would have associated before with my wardrobe, but I feel like now I want to start including that one. Confident and stylish, yeah. And I feel like they kind of cover a multitude as well. Maybe the more you think about it with the worksheet, if you do work on it this week, you might kind of come up with words like at ease. I know that's kind of comfortable as well, but or just things like that kind of dig a little bit deeper. I actually probably should have thought of some myself, keywords. So how do I feel? Yeah, so things like competent, like if you're at work, you want to feel like if someone was to approach you, that you look like the part at work. And then also to even just like look at yourself and be like, yeah, I look good today. I look like I belong here, depending on what kind of office environment or work environment you work in. But yeah, that's really good. So I feel like definitely stylish it's important because it makes us feel good about ourselves. And I feel like, again, when you're wearing something, like two people could wear the exact same outfit and they could both look incredibly stylish. But if it's not kind of their style, they might feel slouchy in it, or they might feel, uncomfortable, things like that. So it is really important to figure out exactly what it is that makes you feel that way. So I have the worksheet on my phone, actually. I'm just going to talk you through it. We're not finished yet, but which is a good point to talk you through. So the first thing I included on it was wardrobe affirmations. And this might seem like kind of a strange one to be creating affirmations about your wardrobe, but it just kind of came to me like a week ago. And if I'm trying to use fashion as a tool for personal development, there's so many other forms of personal development that will use affirmations, and things like visualization. And if you don't know where you want to get to, how do you get there? So until you know exactly what you want. And I think as well, just affirmations make me feel better. I know if it's something as simple, excuse me, something as simple as, I don't know, I say to myself, I'm successful, my business is growing, things like that. It makes me feel better already. So imagine how it can make you feel about your wardrobe. Even if you aren't fully there with it yet, it will make you feel a little bit better, or at least you can think you're getting there. So on the first page of the workbook, I have just my wardrobe affirmation is. So I want you to write it out. Write it out as many times as you want as well. And then you can kind of read over it, or you can record it in your phone, or you can just think it in your head. If it's a short one, that will be easy enough to do. And just commit to how many times per day you're going to say it to yourself. It might be one. It might be, I'm going to say it once when I brush my teeth in the morning. It might be, I'm going to say this 10 times on my commute, or things like that. But just try and commit to whatever you agree to. It can be, I mean, if it's once, great. It's still more than you were doing it. And just see, I feel like it's definitely something that I'm going to start doing with my wardrobe as well a little bit. It's not something I've actually done before with my wardrobe. Like I said, it was just more in kind of business and kind of mental health, body confidence, those kind of areas that I feel like affirmations are used. We can use them in any area of our lives. So next is to create a style inspiration board. I feel like this is so important because, again, like I said, if you don't know what you want to achieve, how do you get there? So we don't need to know how we're going to get there. We just need to know where we want to be, and things will line up and we will get there. So I usually just do this on Pinterest because it's so easy, and you don't have to like save anything and copy and paste and collage, but you can just have it all in one place. It could be something that you use as well as a capsule wardrobe wish list board as well, if you take some of the pieces out of it. But just, look for outfits, especially things that you already own, because I don't want to try and make you build an entirely new wardrobe, because I don't think that's ever really necessary. I feel like there's definitely things in our wardrobes that we all love, that fit us really well. Maybe they're things that we just don't know how to make look how we want them to look. Like we have our favorite pair of jeans and they fit amazingly, but like, how do I translate this into a brunch look or a date night look or for work, things like that. But the key pieces are there. So definitely look for outfits that contain those key pieces that you love to wear. If jeans is something you love, if it's not, something else. Yeah, think about the colors that you might want to wear. Try and think as well a little bit about whether you might be cool toned or warm toned, or neutral as well. I mean, if you can figure it out now by just looking at your veins, let me know, and see if I can look. I feel like, yeah, let me know and I'll let you know what I think.
I think they're kind of blue, but I'm trying to figure out what color my veins are.
Yeah, sometimes it can be blue and then sometimes it can be kind of bluey green. So
bluey green, I would say. Yeah.
So I feel like you've dark hair, but you've kind of got quite warm skin tone as well. So I feel like maybe you could be a bit more neutral to warm.
Neutral. Yeah, that's kind of what I would say.
Yeah. Cool toned. Yeah. I suppose the lighting, I can't really tell, obviously,
hard to see.
Skin tone, but yeah, if you have kind of the bluey veins, then it's probably cool toned. I think neutral can work for a lot of people as well. Neutral tones, even if you're warm or cool. Yeah. I used to always think that I was cool toned because I was pale, until I kind of realized that my hair color has kind of a reddish undertone and my veins are not blue. So I thought because I'm pale, I should wear light colors, and that's not really the case at all. Cool. Okay, so yeah, once you figure that out, try and look for those kind of, I mean, obviously, like I said, you can wear any color, but just try and think of the undertones. And while you're pinning outfits as well, try and think about the colors you want in your wardrobe, because we're not going to wear every color under the sun unless that's our style. But yeah, just try and think of maybe keep to a color palette, because again, I feel like colors and color psychology, I'll touch on that as well, but that will play a huge part. So picking the colors that you like and that you feel like kind of show more of your personality as well is important. Or even one, say it's like if you have blue eyes and you want to wear a blue jumper to make your eyes pop, those kind of things too. I'm not sure if anybody here has blue eyes. Can't really know. Do you have blue eyes?
No, they're kind of greeny, grey, bluey, Irish eyes.
Yeah, I know the ones. My mum has those. I didn't get blessed with them. I just got muddy hazel, but I quite like them now. They're a little bit greeny, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So, and then I again included a bit of a list of how do you want to feel in your clothes, list some keywords that you come up with while creating your style inspiration board. So if you can jot down as many as you can, obviously the ones you gave me today are great, but you can try and expand on those. And I feel like obviously there'll be different times. Maybe you want to say at work, I want to feel like this, but in the weekends, I want to feel like this. When I dress for a date, I want to feel like this, you know, things like that. We are going to want to feel different. I feel like we've got different personas that we might want to express through our clothing, and we don't always want to dress how we dress at work. Want to relax a little bit and not always be taken seriously, or, you know, not always take ourselves too seriously as well. So think about kind of where you are in your setting and those kind of outfits. And the last thing, I put in a bit of a visualization. So again, I mean, this is all, it's just if you're open to it. So obviously affirmations and visualizations, not everyone's that into them, but then they don't really, you know, cost you anything or take up too much time. But if you just have a little read through after class, whenever you get a chance. But it's more about, if you were to think about your perfect morning, like you get up in the morning, you go to your wardrobe, probably not straight away, but when you get to your wardrobe and you're putting together an outfit, how do you want to feel? How do you want it to be like, oh, that was so easy, I just grabbed this and this and this? Or do you want to feel really calm about it? Or do you want to be really excited about getting dressed? Just try and think of the emotions you want as well. This is going really deep into just not just what jumper goes with what jeans, but I feel like it's important. Yeah, it's definitely important to think about. And yeah, so think about, then you kind of go to your wardrobe, the pieces you pick, whether you have it organized by color, it's all color coordinated, or whether you've grouped it with tops together, jumpers together, jeans, things like that. What do you want it to look like as well? Because obviously you know what your own wardrobe looks like. So it's so much easier to just close your eyes and picture what your clothes are going to look like within the wardrobe. Yeah, very woo-woo, but I kind of like it and it works for me. Hopefully it will work for you as well. So yeah, we've got about 10 minutes left. I don't know if you have any questions. And then if you want to pop your mics on, or you can type them or whatever.
So I was wondering, in terms of capsule closets and sort of starting, you know, yeah, I've looked at like lots of different blogs, and it's project 333 or 30 items or 10 items or whatever. I mean, where's a good place to start? You know, I think, is it like, is 10 by 10 the best place to start? I feel kind of overwhelmed because I keep trying to start a capsule and then either gets too big or I decide I don't like what I picked, or, you know, so kind of where's a good place to start?
Yeah, I think a 10 by 10 is really good. Even if you just wanted, you don't have to do it for 10 days, but you could just do it week to week. If you had the time to just kind of experiment like this and take note of, I wore this piece like in every single outfit, or I had to wear this piece, but I didn't want to. And you kind of figure out what bits that you have that you actually want to wear or don't want to wear. Well, even just for, I mean, I don't know how long it would take, but I don't know how many items you think you have in your wardrobe at the moment. But ever heard of like you turn the hangers around and face the opposite way, and as you wear them, you can kind of see what you are and aren't wearing. And obviously the pieces left over that you haven't worn in say 2 weeks or something like that, you can kind of question those pieces instead of trying to question your entire wardrobe in one sitting. You can kind of just be like, okay, well, I haven't worn this in a while, and like, why? And whether it's just like, oh, the weather wasn't right, you can just store it away. And as well, if you do start with a capsule wardrobe, whether you do a 10 by 10, or maybe you just want to do, I think 30 pieces as well, it can be good if you just want to do it over a month. Like limit yourself to the number. And then you might find, oh, I didn't have enough variety, I want more variety. Or again, at the end, you'd be like, I didn't wear like 10 of these pieces. And just store away the rest. I wouldn't recommend getting rid of anything because it's an experiment. You're kind of just seeing what works for you. So just store the rest of it away if you have the room, and work it that way. And that way as well, you can figure out exactly why things aren't being worn, or how many pieces you might think that you need. Because again, like I said, the number isn't hugely important, but it's more that the number you have works for you.
Mhm.
Does that kind of answer, or was there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Cool.
I have the same trouble actually. I watch also many things about capsule wardrobe, but I never start. Or I pick and I don't really like, and I feel like I need my wardrobe to be more appealing, like your college or maybe the way it is organized to be more appealing. So I want to dress with these clothes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like especially sometimes when you do like, so I'm doing project 333 at the moment, and I'm finding that I'm getting a bit uninspired because I'm coming into my 3rd month of it. And yeah, if it's not organized in a way that, you know, colors are jumping out at your styles, or if you just worn a bit of it too much, I find if you just kind of limit yourself and put some of it in storage, like under your bed or in a suitcase in your wardrobe, because maybe you're just sick of looking at it and you're like, I really like this piece and I've worn it loads, but I'm not wearing it right now. And instead of having it hanging in your wardrobe and feeling bad for not wearing it, you can just put it away. And then maybe the next time when you come to kind of refresh your wardrobe, you might pull it back out and be like, oh my God, I missed this. Like, I really loved wearing it. But it's just kind of getting it out of your face for a little while. Because obviously, the more we see things, I feel like the more we see it, the less we see it. So when it's hanging in our wardrobe, we just ignore it and we kind of then just reach for the old reliables. I think, yeah, keeping it switched around. So I wouldn't be able to survive my capsule wardrobe without being switching around every season. And then sometimes mid-season, I might switch in a few pieces as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as well, a great one is to go on Pinterest or Instagram. And literally, if you have something in your wardrobe that you want to wear, but you've kind of worn it every way possible that you can think of, just Google blue crew neck jumper outfits and see how other people are wearing them. And you might not have those exact pieces that they have, but you'd be like, oh, I never thought to wear it with that piece that I have. And then that kind of gives you a new kind of outfit to use.
Yeah, I guess I have another question about, I guess this isn't exactly related to, but I don't know, for some reason I jotted it down. What do you do about, like, do you ever find yourself buying the same thing over and over again? You know, like to find like either a better version of something you already have or just something slightly different because you're sick of the thing that you already have.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know, like, you know, people do it with white t-shirts or white shirts, and I do that. And I'm just wondering, like, how to sort of stop that mindset, or, you know, if there's any tips you have for kind of being happy with the thing that you have.
Yeah, I have done that in the past, or I kind of still do it a little bit. I feel like jeans is a big one for me because I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
perfect fit jeans. And then I'm like, oh no, they are. I gotta get them. Yeah, I feel like sometimes it's about making sure when you actually buy the piece that it is what you wanted, instead of it being like 50% what you wanted. And then in a few months, you're like, oh no, that's actually better. I'll buy that one too. Yeah, being really specific about like, I want it to be this shade of white. I want it to have this type of color. I want it to have this length sleeve. It is more difficult to find exactly what you want then, but it does kind of stop you from buying them over and over again. Or, I mean, you could make the rule that you're going to wait until, like, this is what you want, but I'm going to wait until this one that I have is like completely worn out or something like that.
That makes sense.
Obviously, again, there's that if you find one better, you could sell one on Depop or give it a charity shop, but there's still obviously the buying the new thing. So that's, I mean,
yeah, I was going to say that doesn't work for me.
So
I sell lots of things and I still want to buy other things. So it's like,
yeah, I think just trying to be like really specific with what you want. I mean, even if you had a notebook, because I know you might not always find the exact thing. You might not, you know how sometimes you want something and you're like, this has to exist because I've thought of it, but you can't find it anywhere. You're like looking through websites. But if you were to write down in a notebook exactly the details you want on something, maybe you can manifest it that way. But if you write down exactly those details that you want, like if you're looking for a perfect handbag, but you need to like, oh, it has to have gold hardware, can't have silver. Like, think, because I think I've done that in the past. I'm like, oh, this is a lovely black handbag. And then I take it home. I'm like, oh, but why did I get one with silver hardware when I always wear gold?
I've had exactly the same thing. That's so funny.
Yeah, I feel like handbags like generally are like silvery kind of. But
Yeah, no, I literally, it's so funny you said that. There was a designer bag that I saw some YouTuber has. Oh, the Anna edit actually. She has this bag. She has this Loewe
puzzle bag.
yeah, the navy one with the gold hardware, right? And so I've been lusting after that bag for weeks and or months really, and it finally came up on the Real secondhand, and I was like, yes, I can without any guilt buy this thing because it is the perfect item with the right color hardware. And honestly, like I have no desire to buy any other bag now that I got that one that had the right thing. So I think what you said about finding the thing that really satisfies all your wishes kind of maybe is the trick to not buying more and more of the same versions of the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously for some things it's difficult because you might feel like you need it in your wardrobe. Like if it is like a white top or like a white shirt, but maybe it's better to go without for a little while and find the right one than to just be like, okay, this is a quick fix, but then I still need to keep looking. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions or anything? I know whenever I'm doing things like this, someone asks me 5 questions, I'm like, I kind of need to take it all in and then think about it. So again, if you have like questions, you can email me over as well, or just take a note and have them for next week, whichever. I'm just going to keep an eye on the time because that went a lot quicker than I expected it to.
Can you give us an example of a wardrobe affirmation, just to kind of get, I don't know, like what like, can you share one that you've used or one that you think is kind of a good one, and just to sort of find a place to start, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think I'd written a few examples. They're on my computer somewhere, but one could be, I'm always so excited to get dressed in the mornings. I find it so easy to put together outfits. Like it's simple, but it's like the goal. Or, you know, I mean, again, tailor it for you, but it could be everything in my wardrobe matches perfectly and I can get dressed with my eyes closed. I have done that before one morning because I like to turn on all the lights to help myself wake up in the morning. My boyfriend doesn't, so I have to like root in my wardrobe with my like a torch. So some mornings I'm literally just like, I'll grab an outfit together and I'm like, I don't even know what it is. I think it feels like that jumper that I wanted. And so it's kind of about, yeah, if you can pull an outfit out of your wardrobe with your eyes closed, then that's a good one. But yeah, I think, yeah, even just figuring out the affirmation, I feel like that will help you figure out kind of what your goal is. And I know I asked you as well in your emails to like list what you wanted to get out of this and what you're kind of hoping to achieve. And like those of you kind of had very big emails, so you knew what you wanted anyway. So that was great. But again, yeah, so hopefully I can get you there. That's kind of why I want to know as well, because I mean, I can cover all the topics that I planned, but if maybe there's something else that you actually wanted to cover, then I feel like, well, that's, I mean, it's good to ask questions for that then. But if there is something, again, if you watch the video back and you see the kind of overview of the 4 weeks, I can send that as well in an email if you want. But you'll be able to look and be like, can you cover this in this section? And if I've planned it, great. But if I haven't, I can include it. So I want to make this as beneficial 4 weeks or 4 hours basically condensed as possible for you. So I'm here at your disposal.
All right.
Great. Okay, it's like 1 minute left. So let me just see if I had anything still on my slides. I think I had. Yeah, so it's just how does your wardrobe make you feel and how would you like your wardrobe to make you feel? So you can work on that in the workbook. And then, oh yeah, sorry, here's some wardrobe affirmations.
Oh, great.
So I enjoy getting dressed every day. Each time I open my wardrobe, I feel inspired. I always get compliments on my style. I feel powerful in what I wear every day, strong, like you said. And my style reflects my best self and I feel at peace in my clothing. So there are a few examples and you can use those or you can, you know, make your own from that as well. And again, I don't know if you want to even like screenshot this or if you want to write it down or take a photo or whatever. But again, it'll be in the replay. We'll go back to it.
Can we get the PowerPoint or it's in the replay?
You can get the PowerPoint as well. Yeah, I can send that over. That's perfect. Yeah, let me.
That'd be good.
Yeah, so when I send the replay, I'll send the PowerPoint as well. Because it'll be obviously easier when you've already been on the live to just flick through this. And yeah, that was literally it. So just using the workbook to kind of dig a little deeper and to kind of get under to the core of your wardrobe and what's going on in there and why it is that you have just certain areas that you want to work on. So I hope week 1 was beneficial for you guys. I feel like I know it was just kind of a basics, but and then the next 3 weeks we'll go a little bit more in depth. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you could hear me throughout the whole thing as well. And yeah, like I said, again, I don't know if 2 p.m. is a good time for you guys or a bad time. Does 2 suit all of you again next week?
Yeah, I think I can make it work.
Okay. What would suit you better, or?
Maybe just a half an hour later for me, but it's not the end of the world. So, don't worry if it doesn't suit anybody else, but
Perfect.
it's just because then kids are out of the house. So.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll check in with everyone as well again and just make sure it suits. So, I mean, I can be quite flexible. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining me. That was great. You made my first live easy. So thanks for that. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
See you later.